Northwestern has officially fired their head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, after news broke that there was a hazing scandal going on at their program at the end of last week. They moved very quickly after originally only suspending him without pay for 2 weeks to officially fire him on Monday night. And this whole situation is very complex. There's two sides to an argument. I think most logical people sit on the side where I believe this was the right thing to do. There clearly was mounting evidence, albeit from anonymous sources of former players, that there was images, there were videos, there was proof that the alleged actions were occurring at Northwestern, and that there clearly was some level of involvement from the coaching staff, not just a turning their vision away from what was going on, but for some reason being in on what was happening with the hazing scandal. The other side that's been brought up is, should we have allowed this to play out further? Should this investigation have been looked into deeper? Should we have not allowed the mob to attack in this because of a jump to judgment? I think with the fact that there were multiple former players to come to the table with concerns and also a level of discomfort with the way that they were treated at the program, we should take that very, very seriously. This is not a let's just fire Pat Fitzgerald to cover our asses type of a situation. If anyone, if there are enough, even if it's just two players that feel uncomfortable with the way that they were handled and the way that their teammates treated them in their time in a program, that should be enough cause for firing. I'm not going to go into the exact details. This is not me sitting here to recap what the report said. I implore you to go read what was alleged by former players. But the reality of what was described, the sexual nature in which it was described, is disturbing. I played college football at the Division I level, and I can tell you right now, we never did anything as gross and disturbing as what was described that was being done by Northwestern players. That is hazing. That is the definition of hazing. And I also find it very hard to believe that Pat Fitzgerald, which has also been brought up, that he didn't know that this was going on. There is not a single head coach in the country that is not aware of every single little thing that happens at his program. They all know when you go and take a crap in the middle of a meeting. They know when you don't show up to class or you're a couple minutes late. They know everything because it is their job to hold their players accountable and make sure that they do all the right things in order to be not only successful on the field, but there's also a level of responsibility by coaches to make sure that they are successful off the field, socially and also in the classroom. And with the amount of coaches that have gotten caught up with much more disturbing scandals, you can't allow something like this to happen and not be aware of it. Pat Fitzgerald had to have known that this was going on. And for those that want to make the debate of, which not that many people, those that want to make the debate that we shouldn't have rushed this decision, we should have allowed for more evidence to come to the table. That is not the way that something like this can be handled. Fitzgerald knew, simply enough. One question that I do now bring up, I'll probably do another video on this later on in the week, is who is the eventual successor to Fitzgerald and who is eventually the next head coach for this Northwestern program? I'd love to dig in and think about what some candidates are, but what would make the most sense is trying to go after a coordinator that was at an already academically prestigious institution. I don't think hiring away from Stanford would make sense with the new coaching staff, but somebody from Notre Dame, somebody from Duke. Mike Elko is a good example of somebody who was previously at Notre Dame and then went on to Duke, which is another really academically good program, and he has led them to early success. So maybe, and a name just to throw out there, maybe somebody like Al Golden, who is the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, is somebody to consider. There was a possibility that he did not return this past offseason, but he did stick around as Notre Dame's DC, and with the familiarity of recruiting the general region would set him up for success. Comment who you think below who it could be, and also just generally your thoughts on this situation. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. I just want to tell you folks about an exciting new partnership that we have with this channel with Underdog Fantasy. Ever since I joined, I've been having so much fun. There are so many different exciting games that make watching games during the offseason more exciting. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but it has made it way more entertaining since I found Underdog Fantasy. And my favorite game to play so far, which I think you should try out, is Pick'em. It is so easy to play. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your Pick'em slip, get every pick right, and take home some cold hard cash. Use code HACK, 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 like the name of this channel. Use code HACK to get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. Go sign up. You won't regret it. You're going to have a blast. Check out Underdog Fantasy. I also want to tell you folks about our other recurring sponsor that we have on this channel, that being BetOnline, betonline.ag, which has all the updated odds, news, and anything for sports betting. It's my go-to source for when I want to be betting specifically on games. I love betting on college basketball or the NBA, especially, again, during the offseason. Always looking for more fun ways to be focused in on some of these other sports. It's betonline.ag and use promo code BELIEVE50. It's promo code BELIEVE50 to get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.